This is DJ Kool Herc, the father of hip hop.
Hi, it's Miss Trenier here with another amazing read aloud for you today. We're going to learn about an amazing man named DJ Kool Herc and how he created hip hop. I have a read aloud of the book When the Beat Was Born, DJ Kool Herc and the Creation of Hip Hop.
A little background information for our story is, what is a record and what is a record player?
If you've never seen a record, this is one from the Sugar Hill Gang, which was from a group that was a pioneering group for hip hop. This one has Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. The record is made of vinyl and it has these grooves in it that you can see that are made for a record player. A record player has a turntable, which is this part, which turns the album as a power switch. This is a very simple one. And it has a little arm over here, has a little arm with a needle at the end of it. And that needle goes in the grooves on the record to make a sound. Here's a close-up image of the needle on a record player floating in the groove of a record. You can see how it moves right in that little groove. Now I'm going to take our Sugar Hill Gang record here called Freedom. I'm going to put it on the turntable and put the needle down right on the edge. And you can hear the hissing and popping of the record. And here you can see the record going around on the turntable. When the Beat Was Born, DJ Kool Herc and the Creation of Hip Hop. This book is by Laban Carrick Hill and it's illustrated by Theodore Taylor III. Clive loved music. It didn't matter what kind, whether it was wah-wah scat of a jiving trumpet, a sorrowful twang of sad voice, or the belting boom of a gospel singer. Little Clive loved the way sound thumped and bumped all the way down in his stomach. He loved the way the music made his feet go hip, hip, hop, hippity hop. Little Clive lived in Kingston, Jamaica. His hero was a DJ named King George who threw the biggest and baddest house parties in the neighborhood of Somerset Lane. On Saturday nights, everybody who was anybody made their way to Somerset Lane for King George's hot dance parties. Little Clive was too young to go to the party, so he went to the house when King George and his friends were setting up during the day. They'd arrive pushing a big old handcart stacked with crates of records. Clive had never seen so many records. He imagined himself as a DJ, surrounded by all those records, choosing just the right song to get the party jamming. He saw himself toasting like a DJ, talking and singing over the instrumental B-sides of records. Clive dreamed of everyone's feet going hip, hip, hop, hippity hop. Little Clive really wanted to be a DJ. When little Clive was 13, he joined his mama in New York City. Clive wasn't sure he liked his new neighborhood in the Bronx. It was cold. He had to wear a silly winter hat with ear flaps, and everybody made fun of him. But Clive did find one thing besides music that made him feel like he belonged: sports. He ran track and lifted weights. He played basketball at the neighborhood playground. Soon, little Clive was no longer little. He had grown to 6 feet 5 inches tall. He called himself Cool as Clyde after his favorite basketball player, Walt Clyde Frazier. But the kids on the basketball court took one look at his size and called him Hercules. Clive cut the name short to Herc and then added cool to make it just right. Kool Herc. The best part of being big was that he could go with his mama to neighborhood house parties where he listened to the hottest tunes and danced like crazy. Clive loved these parties. They were just like the ones he stood outside of in Somerset Lane. One day, Kool Herc's father bought a monster sound system with giant 6-foot speakers. But when he hooked up the system, instead of a really big sound coming from the speakers, a little mumbling sound trickled out. Kool Herc spent days switching wires and plugging things into other things until one day the sound was big. Not just big like Kool Herc, but big like an entire block in the Bronx. Kool Herc and his little sister Cindy rented the rec room in their housing project on Sedgwick Avenue. They handwrote invitations telling everybody when and where to get their groove on. They posted cards around the neighborhood. They set up their father's sound system. On the night of the party, everybody who was anybody made their way to Sedgwick Avenue for Kool Herc's hot dance party. That's when Kool Herc became DJ Kool Herc. DJ Kool Herc noticed that dancers danced crazy hard during the breaks in the song when the lyrics ended and the music bumped and thumped. Herc knew that's what dancers wanted, so he plugged in 2 turntables instead of 1. He put the same record on both turntables. He set it up so that when one record ended its break, he would flip over to the other turntable and play it again. Doing this over and over, he made a 10-second break last for 10, 15, even 20 minutes or more. Herc remembered the way the DJs in Jamaica would chant and toast over the music. He started calling out the names of his friends during the breaks. There goes my mellow Kool Herc in the house. There goes my mellow Clark Kent in the house. There goes my mellow Timmy Tim in the house. There goes my mellow Bambata. Everybody loved hearing his or her name called out over the music. He'd compliment people on their dance moves. He'd talk about the music and send shout outs. He'd make up little raps like the jump rope rhymes he heard on the playground. Or he would call, "Hey Mike, on the lights, make like a strobe," and Mike would flip the switch on and off. Over the next year, Herc took his parties to the streets and parks of the Bronx. He plugged his sound system into the lamp posts. They pulled so much power that the street lights dimmed, the perfect lighting for a street party. Kool Herc's music made everyone happy. Even street gangs wanted to dance, not fight. Gangs like the Savage Skulls, the Glory Stompers, the Blue Diamonds, the Black Cats, and the Black Spades turned into breakdancing crews who performed some of the sickest moves. Herc called the coolest dancers breakdancers or b-boys because they loved to dance the breaks. When Herc would find a really good break, he'd shout, "B-boys, go down!" And then the breakdancers would cut and jump their gymnastics. Hey, hey, check this out. The top rock, the down rock, the windmill, the turtle, one-handed handstand freeze, the suicide. Herc gathered a crew of friends to rap behind his DJing. He invented Kool Herc, a Jamaican friend, to rap. He called him his master of ceremonies, or MC Coke, knew all about toasting like Jamaican DJs. He was the first of Herc's crew of MCs called the Herculoids. Herc would introduce them with a rap. You rock and you don't stop. And this is the sounds of DJ Kool Herc, and the sound system you're listening to is what we call the Herculoids. Soon, kids from all over New York City came to see DJ Kool Herc, who threw the biggest and baddest parties on Sedgwick Avenue. Africa Bambata, Grandmaster Flash, Jazzy Jeff, and dozens of others all wanted to be DJs just like Kool Herc. There's no story can't be told, there's no horse that can't be rode, and no bull that can't be stopped. And ain't a disco we can't rock. Herc, Herc, who's the man with a master plan from the land of Gracie Grace? Herc, Herc! Herc didn't just rock the block, he put the hip, hip, hop, hippity hop into the world's heartbeat. And that's the end. And there's a little note from the author that has a timeline in this book, starting with 1973, where DJ Kool Herc DJ'd his sister's birthday, going all the way up in this timeline to 1988, where the Beastie Boys' hit album Licensed to Ill on Def Jam represents hip-hop becoming fully mainstream. And here's many spots along the way. If you check this book out, you can find out lots more information about this really cool timeline of hip hop. The author who wrote the book says that when he was in New York City in 1980, the Bronx was considered one of the most dangerous and desolate places in America. It was America's ghetto. But for me, the streets of the South Bronx and Harlem revealed a very different story. In addition to a bustling community of people shopping and living their lives, I discovered a youth movement that was the antithesis, meaning the opposite of gang violence. When I came around that corner, I saw 50 or so teens dancing some of the most amazing dances I had ever seen. The dances defied gravity and human flexibility. The performances were miraculous feats of physical agility, and they were all done to the beat of records spun by a DJ. I hope you liked When the Beat Was Born. We're going to learn a little bit more about DJ Kool Herc and about hip hop.
Bongo rock was still no vocals in it. Then I would go into Baby Huey, the Mexican. I think we got some hit, cause people was like, oh, whoa, everybody was like, yeah, I'm feeling this, oh, yeah.
How has hip hop changed?
It changed a whole lot. First of all, it provided a payroll, give the kids another way to get out of the neighborhood besides jumping, besides running fast and selling drugs. Music. I call it black gold ghetto steam. And still gushing.
And you're still DJing today.
And nothing changed. I still my wax. Waxes. I'm the John Henry of it. I still pay my wax.
Yeah.
Quality, high fidelity, and I'm with new stuff too. I don't stand in progress. I always have I call it an up and coming rookie to be involved. We share it.
And
I hope you enjoyed our lesson today. Learned a little bit more about DJ Kool Herc and the beginnings of hip hop, and how records and record players had a big part in it. Bye for now.
Rock. Herc, y'all.